Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I have another exclusive for you. The real reason why Ruby Rose was fired from Batwoman, and this is some tea. Now, I do want to preface before I get there, this was actually sent to me by someone who worked on the show, someone who knew, I don't want to say which crew member, but a person who was there on set. This came through them. I couldn't 100% confirm everything they said. However, when I checked my notes with a source close to the show, they confirmed, and so I'm able to put this together and said, all right, let's put this out there. That said, I wasn't there, so I don't want any legal people coming after me. Obviously, take this as you will, but I will say, once I got this information, confirmed it, and then compared it to the press online, it makes sense. So take it as you will. Don't take this as fact. But here's what I'm hearing. Okay, so and if you guys are out there ever have a scoop and you want to send it to me, please, you know how to reach me. DM me on any social media platform. I never give up my sources. I'm not a Hollywood person anymore. I don't care what they think. I want to just give you guys the truth. So send it over if you got it. All right, but let's get to this story. So Batwoman. Look, I know old news. Ruby Rose is no longer in there. We got a new Batwoman coming back. But what really happened? Okay, so let's go through. So I'm going to read some of the scoop I got from this source, just straightforward, and I'll start and stop to give you some insight throughout. So this is from my source. Ruby Rose was an absolute nightmare from really early on in the production of season 1 of Batwoman. She'd show up late, left early without telling people, and just generally didn't want to be there. Doug Ray Scott at one point called her the most unprofessional actress he'd ever worked with. Now, again, not there, I don't know, but I can confirm, before even the source came, I'd heard rumblings of this. Even the trades, when they sort of tried to justify it, when she was fired, the trades were like, well, she wasn't used to schedule, and she wanted to get out, and da-da-da-da. I think it was more one-sided, and they were more frustrated with the way she was on set, the fact that she wasn't actually, she was never on time, she was difficult to work with, all that stuff I had heard rumblings of. I didn't know about Doug Ray Scott specifically saying that directly, but that's not a good look. It doesn't sound good. So apparently that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the problems. But then Ruby went over to film in Prague during production break for a film called The Doorman. Well, she got severely injured on that set, and she and the film's production had apparently effed up her insurance. She wasn't properly covered and would have to pay for it out of pocket. This is the nearly paralyzed story that broke a year ago. So now, for those of you who don't know, before I get to this was something she put out there in the world. It started with an Instagram post where people ask about my new scar. A couple months ago, I was told I needed an emergency surgery or I was risking becoming paralyzed. I had herniated discs. Show some disturbing photos here. I won't show you the surgery. But then she went on to do a whole press tour opening up about the injury that almost paralyzed her, which then became the stunt from Batwoman, the Batwoman set injury that almost left her paralyzed that she did on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And so when you go in through and you see this, on Monday's Tonight Show, Rose explained the injury and subsequent surgery in detail to Jimmy Fallon, which she said was really, really terrifying. Rose said she was doing one particular stunt for about 7 hours on the Batwoman set and thought she had a broken rib, which she assumed would take 6 to 12 weeks to heal. But her chronic pain persisted during that time, and doctors told her the injury had to be in her neck. So she got an MRI while she was on the set of a film in Romania and sent it to her physician back home. So right there, she's talking about this injury she got on Batwoman, but then somehow while she's on set in Prague filming her new movie, she's getting an MRI with a doctor. Okay. It's important to put that out there because here's apparently what actually happened. She lied. She said she slightly re-aggravated a serious injury caused on Batwoman in order to force Warner Brothers TV's insurance to cover it. Everyone knew she was lying, but she went on late night TV and told one of the Jimmys the story, so Warner Brothers had to protect her, and the show just bit the bullet. So just we pause and understand if this is true, what she did. She went onto another show. She went to a movie in Prague. She gets injured on that set. Apparently the producers didn't hook it up or didn't get the insurance properly, so she's now on the hook for some injury in Prague, which, let's step away from this. A lot of people want to rip on Ruby Rose. Like, that's not cool. Like, isn't she Canadian? The show's in Canada. It seems like there's some coverage she could have gotten to protect herself, but apparently not. It wasn't covered. And so she's now on the hook to now pay for this surgery. And so she wisely thinks, well, I got that sort of rib problem on Batwoman. I'm going to say that's what triggered all this. And then I'm going to go out on social media and do these talk show circuits to really reiterate it and hit it home, so that way there's no disputing it later when I have the bills to really make sure it pays for. Look, I could see why she did it. It's wrong. It's potentially fraudulent if it happened, allegedly, right? At the same time, I could see, why the studio would be upset, because that's going to cost them so much more money. So again, apparently everyone knew she was lying, but they made that decision to replace her at the end of the season. She didn't quit. They vowed to never work with her again. It's not public yet either, but the stunt coordinator is preparing some sort of lawsuit because his reputation in Vancouver is now tarnished. So again, this came from some people within the source on set, talking about how difficult she was to work with, talking about this faked injury, and that's the reality here. But yeah, she opens up about this injury, and it was always about the Batwoman injury and never about the doorman Prague injury, because she probably needed some evidence for the insurance to make sure it was connected to that show. She was probably doing that on purpose. So even if the show is like, well, you didn't get hurt here. Yeah, like step back, look, because part of me is like, well, look, I believe in universal health care, and like they have that in Canada and other countries, and if you're injured like that, you shouldn't go bankrupt to get it. That said, she's an actress with a lot of money. You think she could afford it, but still, whatever her plans are, whatever your feelings and all that are, she's now stuck with a bill because of an injury she did that the producers didn't set up. Now, you could go after that producer in that show, that movie, the doorman probably doesn't have a lot of money. She could have gone down that path. But no, she chose, if this is true, she chose to basically point out the injury, a small non-injury bit pretty much from Batwoman, and basically screw over that team to then say, well, that's where it really happened. And you guys almost made me paraplegic, is what she says in a lot of these articles. I almost never walked again. It was that serious. They told me, oh my God, you got to get this fixed immediately. I'm no doctor. I'm no insurance agent. I don't know what's going on, but they're looking at all these articles. Something's fishy. Something is fishy the way she was injured performing stunts while filming Batwoman. It's not even like a specific stunt. I wanted to talk about it because Hollywood and the world at large, I guess, we always try to make it out like everything is effortless and everything is about kind of being perfect and being a certain way, the actor told BuzzFeed. I think in Hollywood, it's sort of like you're meant to be young and beautiful and strong and good at all these different things, and it's kind of like we're also human beings. And I wanted to embrace the fact that, I have a Pez dispenser scar. And she talks about how a couple months ago, I needed emergency surgery or was risk becoming paralyzed, had these herniated discs, et cetera, et cetera. But this idea that I didn't tell anyone for a long time because I didn't want to distract from the show. I didn't want to have people worried about me. I didn't want to talk about it like, hey, I just did this great surgery, it's great, and then have it fail and be like, just kidding, it didn't work out. Look, all of this is just, it becomes a little strange. What's honest? What's honest? What is she telling us? But when she breaks it down here, she talks about the Batwoman set injury she had. She said something where I want to... Yeah, I was like, I wasn't paying attention to my body. I wasn't listening, she said. I was in such a hurry to get everything done. I was like, Batwoman, yes, to the pilot. And now I'm going to do this film. I'm going to come back. We're going to pick up the series. But I just wasn't listening. I think that was the world of saying, like, you're going to have to pay attention. You're going to have to slow down. And you're not actually a superhero. You need to get some priorities straight. I mean, when I read this, where did the injury happen? Where did the injury happen? Did it happen on another set? And did you basically get this stunt coordinator totally destroy his livelihood because you made it seem like on his watch or her watch you got hurt? Because that's messed up. That's not cool if that's what actually you did to save some money. Look, a lot of stuff to digest there. Take it as you will. Again, I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure, but I did confirm this with other sources who said yes. In fact, I want to verify while I'm on the source. Literally, my other source. Everyone knew. Everyone knew that this was going on. There were there were trade talks about it, but. Yeah, the leaving mutual is what the question I think is for a lot of people, and that's sort of what they save face, which a lot of people do. However, sometimes you say like, would you like, it's like with Johnny Depp, right? It was like, would you like to resign or else is what you do. And sometimes the resigning is more more professional, right? You can save face, and that way you don't have the fans against you. Because for WB to try and go out there and be like, Ruby Rose sucks, she was such a pain in the butt on the set, she was annoying, everyone on the crew didn't like her, the actors were frustrated with her. You can't do that. The fans won't believe it. So they're stuck against a hard place, and they have to pay the bills, and they have to put on a good face. And I suspect they're still going to try and bring her back at a certain point. But if you never see her on that show and the show's canceled and over with, and then you see this lawsuit from a stunt coordinator, you heard it here first. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already subbed here, please consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, then the all notification button, as well as smashing that like button and leaving a comment to make sure you support engagement of this video and get it out there. Thanks to everybody watching. If you haven't yet watched my other scoop, Mads Mikkelsen will deadline stole it. Learn all about that here by clicking the video on the left or hit the button up top to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody.